Yep, I hope everybody's having a good day. Or had a good day today. We're going to close that because I don't know how to use that.
So this is kind of a first, y'all?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And because this is the first live of this, I'm going to read this off because I don't really have this memorized. But welcome to Questioning the Narrative. That is the name of the live stream. This is a place for thoughtful conversation, not attacks, not insults. We question ideas, not people, and we believe truth holds up under scrutiny. You don't have to agree with us to be here, but I do ask that you be respectful and try to think critically about the stories shaping our world. So, for anybody coming in late, oh, we've got a few people in here. Hey, guys.
5 whole people. Look at that.
Yeah, got to figure out where the chat is again. Oh, what the heck? There's our chat.
Oh, Jody said
hey,
hopefully
Jody.
going home tonight. Awesome.
Yes, I saw your text message right before we went live.
Hi, Barb.
Hey, Barb. Jody, I hope you're feeling better. I hope they're sending you home because you feel better. Or because you're doing better. Hey, Lynn, how's it going?
Howdy, Lynn. Waiting on an ambulance to take you home?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool that they're going to take you home in an ambulance. But, of course, it's going to cost a pretty penny.
I'm sure.
I'm sure it's not a free ride.
Yeah, no. Would it be faster and cheaper to take an Uber?
Probably.
Yeah, so we'll let some more people come in here before we
12
start.
of us in here.
Hey.
How do you know you're going to let more people come in? No, maybe nobody wants to know your opinion.
Aw, Jody, thank you. No cost by ambulance. Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, yeah. So, like I said, if you guys missed it before you come in, this is the name of this live stream is called Questioning the Narrative, because there's, information out there, and we are not always told the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so on and so forth. So, this is a place where we can talk about the stories going on in the world that are without tearing each other down. We can question ideas, but we're not going to be ugly here and
Hi, Jen.
name call and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, hey, Jen.
Is it hot in here to you?
No.
Maybe I'm just fat, but it's hot in here to me. Robert. Howdy, Robert. From Baltimore County, Maryland. Is that what that said?
Hello. Yep. Hey, Matt. Hi from Walmart. You on break? Ambulance here will take you to the hospital, but you're on your own about getting home. Yeah, that's how I thought it worked, too. Still sitting these dang floors.
Oh,
Jen's
my
been
goodness.
sanding floors today. Well, hopefully you can finish before bedtime.
Good evening, Deborah.
How much you got left, Jen?
How are you sanding them? Are y'all sanding them like with just sanders, or do y'all actually have the big roller sander, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, how are you sanding it? It's going good. 2 rooms left. We have a drum sander.
Oh, okay.
And edger.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, at least you're not doing it with little handheld ones.
Yeah,
That'll
right.
Take you all,
I'm just thinking because it seems like she's been working on it forever. Usually that don't take long with a big drum sander and stuff, but.
Jody said Medicare takes me home via ambulance as I don't have I don't walk without a rollator. Not sure what that is. Hey, Annette, Southwest Georgia Homestead, how are you? Oh gosh, we would be done. Yeah, it sucks. So, to break the ice, what halftime show did y'all watch last night? Did
Yeah,
y'all watch the Super Bowl halftime show or the All American halftime show?
we watched the All American on 3 different devices.
We don't even
So
watch the Super Bowl.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't care about sports at all.
Yeah.
I've never watched the Super Bowl, but just to support Turning Point,
And
we
and you know, American values
right.
of Jesus and community and stuff. We watched the All American halftime show, and I thought it was pretty good.
Hello from Southern Ohio. We're going to get up around 50 degrees tomorrow.
Ooh, Sherry.
Man, I'm going to tell you, it was hot here today.
Yeah,
I've been sweating.
I think it was close to 80. It was warm. Didn't watch no halftime show. I got busy. Our pastor at church yesterday said, you know, when the halftime show comes on, y'all just need to read a devotional or something. Turn the TV off for an hour and read a devotional.
A rollator is a walker on wheels.
Oh, hey, Kim. I did turn Turning Point on for a minute. Grandkids came over, so TV was off most of the time. Well, that's good, too. Neither I go to bed early because I get up at 4 a.m. All right, so do y'all have any stories of the week that you want to talk about before I have a list here of things that we can talk about that are kind of big in the controversial world of news right now. But any of y'all got any stories in your area or things that you want to bring up?
I didn't watch no halftime either. Yeah. I mean, normally we probably would have never either, except like I said, it was just to support Turning Point and the American values.
Yep. Yep. Kid Rock even had a song where he sung about Jesus, y'all.
I've got to tell you, it kind of brought a tear to my eye. Some of
It
the
did.
words in it. Yeah.
It did. I was like, oh, dang, that's a really powerful song. You know, I listened to Kid Rock when I was in my younger years before I was saved. And so I'm familiar with some of his music. But that new one that he wrote is very heartfelt and very, like, it gave me goosebumps. It was awesome.
I can't remember
It's
what
called,
the name of it was.
Until You Can't.
Until You Can't.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I did hear about the mileage taxing. Did you hear about the mileage tax in California? Yes, Kim. So I can, all I know about it is they are wanting, what is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've only heard a tiny bit about it. But they, California is wanting to do a tax on anybody who owns a car. It's like a mileage tax, and it's like $1,500 to $3,500 a year or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that right, Kim?
Which they do a mileage
Stupid
tax.
mosquitoes.
Yeah, why do we have mosquitoes? So many mosquitoes out right now. I guess it's just
warm.
this good warm day. That's crazy. Chat just disconnected. What happened?
It's our Wi-Fi thingy.
Why didn't you put the new one in?
Because I haven't had time.
Oh, dear Lord.
It's still
Yes,
in the
per
truck.
car. Per car.
Yeah, per car. Yeah, I didn't
Wow.
add that in there. Yeah, per car. So, we did order a new Wi-Fi little adapter thingy for our computer because when Michael built it, he didn't build in a wireless Wi-Fi thing. So we got a new one. I just haven't installed it on here yet and got it all hooked up. Deportation. I watched the border being crossed by thousands. Trump said there were hotels full and there were prisoners released from other countries, but it seems like they are also deporting something. It's hard to watch, but also I see the protests are getting violent. I don't know. It's just sad to see. But what's the answer? We can't have open borders, right?
Well, what's crazy to me, guys, is, we have the same thing happening in, basically 50 states. The lower 48 for sure. And the only, there's a couple of problem points, which is due to what I feel like is the local government in those places.
Yeah. California is trying to get people out of vehicles with the new cars. they'll shut your car off, or yeah, if you don't pay the mileage tax.
That's
Right.
insane.
Yeah, because they're still trying to, Kim, are they still trying to push that whole, like, all electric cars by 2030 or something? I have an illegal family member who has kids born here. What's that mean for them? Yeah, things are changing a lot, and all I know is that I am 100% for legal immigration. People who want to come here and go through the right channels,
Right.
who want to assimilate, who believe in American values. That has been going on for a very long time. I'm very much pro legal immigration. These are laws that have been on the books for decades and decades and decades. And if it was really that important of an issue for politicians who claim to make it a big deal, then most of them have been in office for like 40 plus years. So they've had plenty of time to do something about it, and they haven't. But I'm 100% for legal immigration, and I'm also for the deportation of criminals who are killing people. You see, this is another story. This is a story that I wrote down. We had the shooting of Renee Good and Alex Peretti, both in Minneapolis. But if you take out the whole, like, if you take the emotion out of it, if you or I tried to run over a law enforcement officer with our car, what do you think would happen to us? Regardless of the situation. It could be a traffic stop, it could be, whatever, but if someone, take the emotion out of it, this is where we're going to get into these deep things, and people are going to get mad, and that's okay, whatever. I just ask that you think critically at these situations. If you take I'm all for the Second Amendment, but I also know that if I am going to intentionally go cause issues with law enforcement, I'm not going to bring a firearm, because when you do that, you are immediately a threat, and they have to protect their lives. They have families too. But it's funny because people are protesting for them, but then there was, if you guys remember, a few months ago, there was that Irina Garuska. I can't remember if that's exactly her name, but she was an immigrant that was coming here legally. She had gone through the right channels. She was a refugee. She was coming here legally. She was on a bus on the way home from work, and somebody murdered her for the simple fact that she was white. And that's not right. So I am for deporting people who are killing our American citizens, people who are bringing drugs into our country, known gang members that have a criminal rap sheet. I think that if you are going to come here, you should obey the laws. The laws that are already on the books. These laws have been they have been around for a very long time. It's nothing that's new. They're just being enforced now.
There's no respect. I remember when anyone and anything stopped if the president was on TV. Yeah, right.
Let's see, where were we? Hard to watch. California's trying to get people out of vehicles. Yeah, My husband says, illegally is illegal. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, Jen, but if you go down to the basics, if you look at the law that's being broken, entering a country without permission is breaking the law. And that goes for whether you're going to the UK, if you're going to China, if you're going to Japan, if you're going to...
That is not allowed
anywhere.
in any other country.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
That's why you have to have a passport to travel. You are not allowed to enter into any other country in the world. You can't even go to Canada. I had to have a passport to go to Canada. And it was I only went a couple miles in. I was only there for a couple of hours, and I had to have a passport. I had to go through all of this screening to make sure that I wasn't going to go in and do anything to harm Canadian people, right? And so I firmly stand on law and order. So, I know there's a big argument that nobody's illegal on stolen land. Well, guess what? All land everywhere is conquered land.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah, no way to electric cars. I agree.
Here's the thing, guys. I'm going to just say it. I would absolutely love to have a Tesla truck. Love to have one. But there is no way possible I would ever want it to be forced on anybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think as you guys know, I'm different. I like different things. And to me, the Tesla truck is just a different vehicle and it stands out wherever it goes. And I'd love to have one, but you're not going to force me to take it.
Right. Not to mention they're like bulletproof.
Yeah.
Literally, someone pulled up in front of I think it was like Trump Tower in Vegas or something. Y'all correct me. It was someone used a Tesla Cybertruck, put explosives in the back of it, pulled up in front of a building with the intention of hurting a lot of people and doing great damage to the building. And those trucks are built so tough that it didn't even bust the glass on the front of the building.
Right.
Like, and that's in the back of a pickup truck. That's not even, you're not going to force me to buy a car. Like, anytime I feel like I'm forced to do something, I'm a little bit of a rebel in the fact that I'm going to be like, no, the fact that you're forcing it makes me feel like I have to. And even if I wanted to, you're making me feel like I have to. And so, yeah. Did you hear about the stats on the graduates understanding decline since they started putting classwork completely on computers, not having children learning how to do it with paper and pencil? I have not gone down that rabbit hole, Lynn, but I did go down a rabbit hole, and this is actually on my list, are failing education standards. And so if you guys know anything about the education system, we have kids that are school age, so I pay attention to this kind of thing. But I think it's every 2 years, there is a survey done based on how a school performs. On a national level, of course, there's going to be some areas that have higher standards than other places. Like, the standard's the same. I'm trying to say how, there might be a area where the students perform better. The performance is better. That's what I was trying to say. And then other places where it doesn't. On a national average, in 2024, only 27% or 27 or 28% of 8th graders can read at an 8th grade level. And only like 31% of them can do math. And then I was like, I wonder how this kind of plays out over generations, right? And so I was like looking into it. And on a national average, only 44% of adults can read at an 8th grade level. Only 44%. Of course, if you get into, and that's average. That's for everybody. If you count college graduates separately, of course, the reading comprehension levels are a lot higher. But on a national average, only 44% of adults can read. So that tells you that our education system has been failing us for a very long time. Additionally, if the police were allowed to do their jobs and back up ICE, a lot of the tragedies we are seeing wouldn't be happening.
Absolutely, Kim.
If they would, if local jurisdictions would allow people to, would allow the agents to go into the jails and the prisons and get these people that have active deportation orders. Obviously, if they're in jail or prison, they have a habit of breaking the law. If they could go to those places and get them and didn't have to go into neighborhoods, it would be a lot safer. So I believe that it is local jurisdictions that are making a lot worse than it has to be. Governments selectively enforce the laws that allow them to stay in power. If the Trump administration is deporting illegals, they view the illegals as a threat.
Yep,
right?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Children have no recall memory now. No, they don't. And I actually read a book one time. I can't remember what it's called. But it's how screens and social media are literally rewiring the brains of young people. And it's causing attention disorders. It's causing mental health problems. It's causing all kinds of stuff. Let me see if I can find that really quick. Let me just use your phone so I'm not messing this up.
Hi,
so
Loretta.
Still be. Yeah, who wants rapists and murderers here and drug dealers?
Right.
Yeah, no. I think that if you're actively fighting for rapists and murderers, and these are people that are convicted, not people that are, oh my gosh, he made me feel uncomfortable, which isn't right either. But the fact of the matter is they are convicted rapists and murderers, and they are being let back out on the street to do it again. That guy that killed Irina Zaruska, or I think Garuska, whatever her name was, he had been in jail so many times. And I believe that he'd even been in jail for murder before. If they hadn't let him out, she would still be here.
Look, Matt says I'm right. The consumer needs to decide what vehicles we drive,
Yes.
not mandates from the government.
Right.
Absolutely, yes.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Patricia said, I think they lie on those standards. What?
I don't know. This says the Logan County Sheriff's Office shared an update on the tragic murder-suicide in Guthrie. Was that in
That's Oklahoma, yeah.
Guthrie, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
That's just the first thing that I had seen when I pulled it up.
My niece didn't even know where to put a stamp on an envelope, much less write her name in cursive. They lie on those standards. Yeah.
Yeah. There's places like Washington, D.C., Chicago, I think Baltimore was on the list too, where literally less than 1% of their 8th graders can read and do math.
Kim said there's 33,000 inmates in California prisons that will be set free into the public before ICE can get there to get them. Yep.
Yeah.
I believe it. Golly, I cannot believe how many mosquitoes there is in here today. Man, we're going to get carried away with mosquitoes.
Okay, the book is called The Anxious Generation. I wonder if it'll give me a, kind of a synopsis. It says, in the summer of 2022, I was working on a book project about how smartphones and social media rewired many societies in the 2010s, creating conditions that amplify the long-known weaknesses of democracy. The first chapter was about the impact of social media on kids who were the carriers of the coal mine, revealing early signs that something was going wrong. When adolescents' social lives moved onto smartphones and social media platforms, anxiety and depression surged among them. The rest of the book was going to focus on what social media had done to liberal democracies. I quickly realized that the rapid decline of adolescent mental health could not be explained in one chapter. It needed a book of its own. So The Anxious Generation is volume 1 in a sense of a larger Babel project. I begin The Anxious Generation by examining adolescent mental health trends. What happened to young people in the early 2010s that triggered the surge of anxiety and depression around 2012? The sudden increase wasn't merely due to a heightened willingness to talk about mental illness. The rise was showing up in behavior as well, including self-harm and unaliving. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. It showed up intentionally or internationally too. The rise in anxiety, depression, and self-harm is found in all of the main Anglosphere countries and in many of the European countries as well, indicating that a broader phenomenon is sweeping over the developed Western world. Gen Z, born after 1995, has been hit hardest, although millennials haven't been entirely spared, as you can see here. And I wonder if it'll open this chart. Anyway, maybe you can see it on there if I kind of...
No.
It's awful, but...
You ain't going to be able to read it.
No. Yeah, y'all can't read that. I don't know. Anyway, it's talking about how social media and devices have caused kids to be more anxious and depressed.
And I can totally see it. We've seen 100%. It with our own kids.
And that's why our kids don't have phones. Well, Emily does, but Emily has it's a Bark phone. No, not a Bark phone. Hers is a Gab phone. but it doesn't come with an internet browser. There's no social media. There's no online games. There's no watching YouTube. There's no TikTok. There's none of that. She can download some apps. One that she likes to use is what is it? That one that teaches you different languages, Duolingo, and there's different things she can download on it. But it's a smartphone that doesn't do a whole lot more other than call and text. But we have seen it over and over and over again. My mom read at a second grade level. It was sad. She's why I love to read. My niece didn't even know, what to stamp on an envelope, right? Or how to write a check, or how to write in cursive, or how to read the Declaration of Independence, or how to cook a meal. Like, there's so much that they do not teach in schools that should be. Muhammad is not my God. Amen, Barb. Yep. Jesus is our God. I seen that on News 6 on here. News on 6 on here, yeah. Amen. I won't even go close to
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, with all the protesters. ICE went in a buffet restaurant in my town, and one guy they got was wanted for assault and burglary. It is closed down. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's who they're looking for. Unfortunately, because they're having to go out into neighborhoods and stuff, they come across people that are here illegally, but may not be wanted for a specific crime. They're picking them up too. And those people would be a lot less likely to get picked up if the law enforcement could go to the prisons and jails. But instead we have these activist judges that are letting them out of prison so they can go be repeat offenders and hurt other people. Like Jocelyn Nungare, she was like 13 years old and was killed, raped and murdered by an illegal alien, and then there was a mom of like 3 kids, and there's been so many. There was what's her name? She was a nurse, a college student, and she was a nurse, and they didn't ask for that.
Did you see what Kim said about her granddaughter? Her grandson, I guess.
Taught my grandson how to write in cursive. He would sign his name on his paper, and the teacher drew a line through his signature and took points from him his overall grade. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I think we all need to buy a tank, and then maybe we will be okay. You could use it to clear land and drive. Yeah. Well, and the boomer generation used to teach the children to cook, can, garden, etc., but the kids of those boomers haven't passed the knowledge down to their children.
Well, there is something to do with that, though, Kim, is because you live a lifestyle like this, like we are, we're trying to teach our kids that kind of thing. We're trying to live that kind of life. But a lot of people do not agree with it, so they threaten to call the DHS and Child Protective Services and all that stuff on you because they don't think that that's a good way for your kids to live.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely stupid. I mean, bring it on, because there's nothing wrong with they're it's happened before, and they don't.
Yeah. The weaponized child protection system,
right,
is a whole nother topic. That is so awful. We were actually just talking to Bobblehead about it, and he said that when he lived in Illinois, they did a study on it, and like 95% of the calls that child services received was from friends, families, and neighbors that wanted to get the person in trouble, not because they were actually doing something wrong.
I mean, we even had somebody comment about us the other day that, it is such a bad thing that we have a 10-year-old girl that takes care of our goats.
Yeah.
She feeds our goats and takes care of our goats. That is such a bad thing.
How dare her? I mean, how dare y'all? Like, that's child abuse.
I mean, really?
We really live in that kind of world. If y'all have young kids, then you probably know what we're talking about. You know, a lot of people out there think it's child abuse to make your kids do chores.
Right.
They should know how to clean up after themselves. They should know how to do the laundry. They should know how to wash dishes. They should know how to take out the trash. They should know how to cook basic food. Frying an egg, making toast, pancakes, you know, like they don't have to be gourmet chefs, but they should at least have the basic skills of knowing how to use a stove safely and prepare meals safely, knowing that meat has to be cooked thoroughly, you know, and that kind of stuff. So,
You know, and Lily at 10 years old, I mean, she's not going to get in there and cook anything extravagant. But, you know, Lily could cook us breakfast if we ask her to.
yeah.
And she has in the past.
Yeah, she's even made some dinners. She knows how to make a couple of things that are simple, like one pot dishes, you know. But some people literally, genuinely think it's child abuse to teach your kids how to be responsible. Right. And then teaching your children about personal accountability is, you know, they label you a narcissist if you try to teach accountability. It is just, this world that we live in is so bonkers. Hey,
It
Rachel. Oops, college student nurse, Lake and Riley. Yeah, Lake and Riley, right. Yes, yeah, she was a college student nurse, right. Absolutely, that was her name. Taught my girls to bake and can, and I'm very proud of both of them. Good job, Sherry. I can say that my parents didn't teach me that kind of stuff. My parents, my mom had a small flower garden. I remember them having a small vegetable garden, but it wasn't something I remember really being a big part of. They certainly didn't teach me how to can. They didn't teach me how to hunt. Um, I did learn how to cook from scratch because both my parents cooked from scratch. But yeah. We think y'all are great parents. Thanks, Annette. Hope that, you know, when someone disagrees, y'all will be there to back us up.
Yeah. I had to feed chickens and cows. Yeah, Matt. Right. Right.
Stupid mosquitoes.
Man,
oh
I'm
gosh.
telling you, they're everywhere.
Oops. Hopefully I don't need that pen.
I had them come to my house, and I told them once they fed, clothe her, and make sure she goes to school, then I don't want to hear anything they had to say. Told them to get off my property. Well, Patricia, what most people don't understand is unless they have a warrant, you tell them to kick rocks.
You be polite, you record it, and you say, when you come back with a warrant, I will be happy to answer any questions you have.
Right.
And then you shut the door.
But most people are like, oh, and just, you know, go off on all that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should also speak English while in this country and working here. Absolutely, 100%. If you can't speak and read English, how do you navigate our roadways?
And also, you know, do you think that you can go to, I mean, of course, like you go to a tourist attraction in another country, and a lot of the people working in those tourist attractions are probably going to know how to speak different languages because they're around tourists a lot. But do you think that if you went to a city in the middle of nowhere in Mexico that you're going to be able to get anything done if you can't speak Spanish?
Right.
You know, do you think that you can do that in France or Germany or Japan or China and just go in and expect everybody else to cater to you and know your language?
Right.
I don't think it's fair for us to expect that of others in other countries. So if I were to go to another country, I would at least know enough of the language to be able to get by, you know, to get food, to get where I needed to go, to, you know, take care of myself or whatever. But I would be making an effort to learn their language because I was in their country. I would also be following their laws, their customs, their traditions, because you don't go to someone else's house. I'm not going to show up at y'all's house and disrespect you and demand that you, you know, give up all of your beliefs just because I'm there now. Like, and if people want to come to my house and act like that, guess what? They ain't going to be welcome to come back. You don't come to my house and be disrespectful and rude and demanding and then expect an invitation to come back.
Right. 100 to 1, those people have obese kids headed towards diabetes and heart disease. Right, Barb? Yep. Teaching work ethic. Yep.
It's
Yep.
important. It's important. But these days, it's teaching work ethic is, a threat to the system. They don't want kids that think for themselves. They don't want kids that are problem solvers and can figure things out.
So I didn't grow up that way either. So we didn't have the farm animals and all. Now I did. My dad had an auto repair shop, and from the time I was 9 up until I was old enough to move out of the house, I worked for him. And it was either before school, after school, whenever we're off of school, whatever. But I didn't have all those responsibilities. Now, whenever I was very young, we had that kind of responsibilities, but I was way younger. I didn't have those kind of responsibilities because I was only, 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. I told my kids if you don't want to own or be proud of what you did, then it probably isn't a good idea to do it. Yes. If you don't want someone saying, you're not going to believe what Wiley did the other day, then Wiley probably shouldn't be doing those things, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
if you don't want to give people ammo against you, if you're looking at something thinking, I don't want people to know that I'm doing this, it's probably not a good idea to do it.
Some of the best parents I know. Well, thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, thanks. In California, all dealings with CPS, they bring the police with them, right? Even so, I mean, according to our Fourth Amendment, unlawful searches and seizures, along with our Fifth Amendment, the right to remain silent, you do not have to speak with them unless they come with a warrant. Our adult son and his friends cut trees and firewood instead of going to the gym and make money selling firewood. That's after working a day job. Yes.
Right. Well, I mean, here
awesome,
here
man.
you are making money and getting probably better exercise than you will ever get at a gym.
Yeah. Right.
Making money, not having
Yeah.
to pay to go to a gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I always joked that when I worked at the post office that, I got paid to exercise. I did.
Right.
So, doing firewood, you're getting paid to exercise.
Right.
Unless you're like us and you're burning all your profit in your own stove.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, which in a sense we are getting paid because we're not having to buy it, so we're saving.
Yeah, right.
It's,
a penny saved is a penny earned, or
right.
how does that go?
Yeah, something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that. I know I've probably already made some people mad, but this is about discussing ideas, guys, and we don't have to agree on everything. In fact, I'd be kind of disappointed if everyone was like, yeah, you're right all the time, because my whole goal with this is to bring stories to light that may or may not make it to you otherwise. So, Patricia, you're no fun.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. So, some of the other things I want to talk about, we've already covered a lot of them. What do you guys think about these school protests? Do you think that kids should be allowed to leave school without a permission slip to go protest the federal government? Do you think that that is them exercising their freedom of speech? Or do you think that school is for learning and not political activism? Where do you guys fall on
Well,
that?
and that's here the people on that side, the first thing they want to say is separation of church and state. Oh, you can't have the 10 Commandments up on our school walls. You got to separate that.
Yeah.
But yet they're like, we'll let our kids go out and protest. Well,
Holding
where'd
up-
the church and state
Yeah.
go?
Holding up signs that say F ICE. I do not want my kids walking around anywhere carrying a sign with the F word on it, all right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
But there
that's
it
why
is
we
again.
homeschool, guys.
But there it is again. What's good for the goose is not good. It's supposed to be good for the gander. However they say that. But
I think that the kids, their First Amendment right should not be violated. However, it should be exercised outside of school hours. There's plenty of after-school hours or weekends where they could be doing these things, but instead they're taking precious classroom time. Mind you, if there's a snow day, guess what? They have to make that up. Why can they walk out because of feelings and not have to make that time up?
Absolutely, Patricia.
Let's see. Matt said, I saw a school protest in Fayetteville last week. There was a group of elementary school students holding signs with 2 police guards. Yeah. There was actually 2 students. I can't remember where it happened, but there was 2 students that got shot at a school protest.
Can you say indoctrination camp? Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
They have, okay. I can kind of understand older, like high school kids, right? Because they're kind of starting to understand. They're learning about economics and politics, and that's part of like kids need to be taught about how our system works. About the different branches of government and the importance of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and how our country was formed and founded, and that's all stuff that needs to be taught. Elementary school kids should be left out of it completely.
Right. And
elementary school kids have zero idea what's going on.
Exactly
They just
what
want to do it
Jen's-
because the teacher says it's a good idea.
Exactly what Jen said right there. Some of the kids are simply doing it because everyone else is. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And they see the opportunity to get out of class.
They're like, "Ooh, I'd much rather go outside
You're
than
not,
math."
don't think that if I was in the, let's just say 5th or 6th grade, and they come in there and was like, "Hey, does anybody want to go out and protest on the street today?" I'm gonna be like, "Heck yeah, man! Give me a sign."
Do I get an excuse absence?
I want to get out of class. I mean, that's exactly what's happening.
But if you were to go up to any of those students and said, "Why are you doing this? What is the purpose for you leaving your class to do this?" How many of them do you think could give you a coherent answer? How many of them do you think that could actually articulate their own personal beliefs?
Most 90% of the adults you see out there that's protesting cannot give you a reason why.
Yeah, and when they are asked why, because Trump's a racist. Well, what do you have? What particularly has he done that makes him a racist? Oh, I can't think of anything right now. Oh, I've got to go. I've got things to do. And or they start calling the person questioning them names because they don't have an argument. They're only repeating what they hear on the news. What was those reading and comprehension tests again? Right. Yeah, exactly. Equal to or less than 30% of 8th graders.
She said oops test scores. She meant test scores, but yeah, same thing.
Yeah. There's so many mosquitoes right here. I see like 4 of them flying around. What the heck? Just because someone believed it's true doesn't mean it is, right? And that's why it is important for us to do our own research. I encourage you guys, don't just take what we say as, like we may not have all the details, right? We may speak preemptively on some things. Don't take what we say as truth or we are discussing what we observe and our own personal opinions about it. But
Good evening, Farmall and Fords.
I encourage everybody to do their own research. Research both sides.
Yeah, don't just focus on one side and come up with a conclusion because, but do your research all the way across the board.
Figure out there's always 2 sides to an argument. Figure out what each side is arguing for, why they're arguing about it, and then figure out what the common denominator is, and then fact check that. Fact check. And don't just Google it, because Google is part of all of it. Google is not going to give you both sides of it usually. One side is definitely amplified over the other.
Matt says, I think all the school protests are visible signs of a coming civil conflict. One branch government, schools, are resisting the efforts of another branch of the government, federal. Absolutely, Matt. I totally agree with that. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Hey, Laureen. Brainwash Society. Absolutely. And although I have to say, because I try to look at both sides of the spectrum, so to speak, I have seen a huge amount of people that are recognizing the lies and the propaganda for what it is. I see a lot of people that have been like, I was a Democrat forever until I started paying attention to this, and then this opened my eyes, and you know,
Bye, Matt. Thanks for hanging out.
yeah, have fun at work.
We always enjoy you.
Yeah, you've always got good input. Um, but yeah, I highly encourage people to do their own research. Don't take what I say as, you know, don't take it to the bank. Do your own research. Their parents need to make them get a job and pay their own way to see if they got time to protest, right? Um, so I really feel like, and I don't know how this would ever be implemented, so this is just an idea, but I think that it would be a good idea for every kid before they graduate high school to spend time in a foreign country. Like, send them to somewhere that is a lot different than here. Because so many of our young people are so entitled. They believe that everything should be handed to them on a silver platter. They don't believe that they should have to work. They don't, they don't understand how good they have it. I think that every kid should have to go on a mission.
There was a number of years there. It seems like whenever I was in my final years of school or whatever, that they was trying to push that a lot with the whole sister city and the, what do you call it? The some of our students would go over there, some of their students would go over here, and but it don't seem like, I mean, they still do that at a minimal now, but it seemed like it was being pushed really big back then, and then it just kind of went, I don't know why it went to the wayside, but surprised you're live. Well, it's a new live, Greg. It's like this is the new thing on this channel.
Yeah, so we're talking current events. But yeah, I think that it would open up so many people to how good we have it in America if if it was a requirement to go on a mission trip. Don't go being a foreign exchange student, I feel, is different because you're being hosted probably by a well-to-do family. And you're going to school at probably like, a good school, and I don't think that inner cities like Chicago have, Greg, do inner city schools in Chicago have foreign exchange programs? Probably not.
Well, I'm going to say something right now that I know is going to make something really controversy. A lot of controversy, especially because, it's mostly moms in here, women. And, but if you ask me, I think one thing is when you turn 18, it should be mandatory, at least go through boot camp in the military.
I wish that I would have done something like that.
I really do. I think it should be minimal, at least go through boot camp training in the military. I really do.
This may be something also that y'all may or may not agree with, but I think that used to, back in the 1800s, 1900s, early 1900s or whatever, the only people who had the right to vote were landowners, the people who had a stake in the game, right? I think that today, in order to exercise your right to vote, I think that you should have to pass a citizenship exam. I think that we should have to understand, because I don't know how many videos I see a week of young people, college students, or people in their 20s and 30s, can't tell you who the president is, can't tell you what the capital city is, what the they don't even know countries. Like they're like, name a country other than the United States, and they're like, Arkansas. Like, college students are so ill-educated.
Yeah.
I think that we need to have a good comprehension, a good understanding of how our system works. And like I said, how our government is designed. Most countries don't make it past 200 years. We are at 250 years living off of the same constitution. And I think that we are the only, because of the way that our system is designed.
Jody said they might not let her go home. Her oxygen levels are low. Well, she's sleeping
Oh
is too low.
no. Oh no, Jody. I think that there are a lot of people out there that do not understand how our elections are designed to work. It has turned into more of a popularity contest based off of propaganda than it has off of basic knowledge. Most people can't tell you what the three branches of government are. They can't name any of the Bill of Rights. They don't know anything about our Constitution. And I think that's one of the biggest problems is because we are asking these people to vote and they don't even know what they're voting for. They don't know why they're voting. They don't know.
They just see this group over here that's doing stuff that they like, so they vote for them.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
They're like, love is love, so I'm going to vote for, people who believe that love is love, even though words don't equate into reality. That was something else I was going to
Greg,
talk about.
I absolutely agree. 2 years, absolutely, I do agree with that. But, at least, minimally, at least put them through boot camp.
Right. I wish I would have done that. After I've done a lot of research, because you guys, since Michael has left, I have been nonstop obsessed about trying to, know what he's up to in boot camp.
Yes.
I'm like, what's my baby going through?
And then it makes it all that much worse that I'm assuming his company or whatever you want to call it must have got in trouble last week because he didn't have his phone on Sunday to call her.
Yeah, we didn't hear from him yesterday. So I'm like, well, somebody messed up or they didn't do what they were supposed to do, or maybe Michael called the drill sergeant sir too many times.
Yeah, he said that was his biggest hang up right now is he keeps wanting to say sir and ma'am, not drill sergeant.
Yeah.
So
he's being too polite and he's getting in trouble for it. But yeah, I think that a mission trip would be a big eye opener for a lot of people because here in America we are spoiled.
Bye, Jen. Don't work too hard.
We take for granted hot showers, a roof over our head, we can travel freely. In America, if you want to go across the country, you can. All you have to do is just
the thing about it is half the people over here protesting things are protesting things that they would get killed for if they was in that country.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say it: queers for Palestine.
Yeah.
Muslims do not believe in same-sex marriage. They believe that sexual immorality in that sense of being gay and stuff is a sin. And I've even seen videos where Muslims have said if they come here, we're throwing them off a building. And they're fighting for it. They're like, oh, but the poor Muslims, they're fighting for people who would murder them in a second.
Lynn, you are 100% correct. Trade schools is yes, they have to. If we don't bring trade schools back, guys, we are literally screwed. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. But old people wouldn't remember that, Jen. Let's see. It's a good point. I'm getting some studies together for my oldest grandson. Yeah. We are, I do have a book for homeschooling with our kids that is a training book for the U.S. citizenship exam. Because when my kids get to the age that they can vote, I don't want them to vote for somebody because they were told to. I don't want them to vote simply because they, because their friends are voting for that person. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I became of age to vote, I was 18 and I lived in Fort Worth, Texas. And my mother-in-law at that time, she was a legal resident. She was born and raised in the United States, but she grew up in El Paso, so she was very Mexican culture and that kind of stuff. And she, when it came time to vote, and I didn't know. I'm just going to say it, and I'm ashamed of it, but I voted for Barack Obama because when I asked her for advice...
don't tell people that whenever I'm around.
I'm ashamed of it, okay? I was 18, and I was stupid, and I didn't know any better. And the advice she gave me was to vote for people with women names, or Democrats because they're going to give you free stuff. That was the advice she gave me. Because Democrats are all about, usually they're all about like this new program so you don't have to work or to help so and so and to help so and so. But if I've learned anything as an adult, it is that social programs have enabled people to be lazy. So social programs are good. We are supposed to take care of our elderly and the disabled and stuff like that. But we have so many people nowadays that are not disabled, that are not elderly, that are perfectly capable of getting a job and working, but they choose not to because they don't have to. Single motherhood has been subsidized. If you're a single mom, you get free housing. You get free, you have companies that'll help pay your utility bills. You get free child care. You get food stamps. You get free health care. Like, if you're a single mom in this country, you could literally not have to work for your kids' whole lives. And if you just keep having babies, then you keep having babies so that they finally age out when you're about time to, get Social Security, that you've never paid a dime into the system. And it's sad. It's sad.
I don't even remember who Obama run against.
I don't remember either.
To be totally honest, guys, I've never really been into politics at all. There is stupid things going on right now that I see and, that irritates the heck out of me. But I don't know.
Kim, to answer your question, I believe that the two primary branches of law are the judiciary and the, I just had it, I just had it in my brain. The judiciary, which is like, the judges and stuff, and then there's the executive branch and, the legislative. So I was thinking legislative and judiciary. I believe those are the two main primary branches of law.
Oh, Mitt Romney was okay.
Yeah. Oh, we are already screwed.
Yeah.
I remember when saying you're gay in the meaning isn't what it is today, right? Yeah, Lynn, I remember that too. Jody, we're absolutely praying for you. All the kids want to get out of college and make six figures and do nothing. 100%, Greg. 100%. And nowadays, a college degree, unless you're a lawyer, a doctor, a veterinarian, correct me if I'm wrong, what other things do you need a degree for?
Oh, she was saying the two branches of law, which is criminal and civil. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think you read that wrong.
Yeah, I think I read that wrong. Yeah.
Or took it wrong or something.
Yeah.
We just got our power bill this month, and it was over $500. So they are weeding out the old people and can't afford to live now. Wow.
What? Who said
Patricia?
That? Oh.
I seen somebody say they moved here to Arkansas like 5 years ago, and their electric bill has went up by 300% over 5 years. Hey, Brett.
Greg said, my advice for voting is pick the one thing that you will not compromise and stay true to that. For me, it's the Second Amendment. Absolutely.
Right.
Because you are never going to find somebody that stands for everything that you do. You're never going to find the perfect candidate. If you do find the perfect candidate, chances are they're probably lying to you to just tell you what you want to hear. But like Greg said, pick that one thing that you will not compromise on and vote for the person who stands for that the best.
Kim said you went deep, Jen, on the branches of law.
Those are the three branches of government. We just got our power bill this month, and it is over $500, so they are weeding out the old people who can't afford to live now. Oh my gosh. Did y'all see, that's something else on my list, did y'all see that, okay, so Angela Spanberger, I can't remember exactly how to pronounce her name, but she just got elected as governor of West Virginia, one of those. Anyway, she campaigned on lowering taxes. As soon as she got into office, she passed a thing where they can raise electricity rates, I think by over 50%. And also she is enacting like either 15 or 50, I can't remember, new taxes on the residents of her state. Freeloading is bad. Okay. Yeah, it is. Now, I'm not trying to knock anybody who gets those services and rightfully needs them. I am not trying to talk badly about disabled people or people who are unable to work or elderly people or, whatever. Life happens. But those programs were created to be a safety net, not a livelihood.
Jen said she thinks this tree, or Patricia said she thinks this tree is drawing in the mosquitoes.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. We need to plant some citronella in here.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. Absolutely not. Kids need to have parents' approval, right? But I think that, and I mean, you're going back. If you're talking about Jody, if you're talking about the
Protest.
the protests, I think that should be something that's organized outside of school hours.
Yeah.
If they can organize sports games outside of school hours or community events, like, when I was in school, we did a car wash for a fundraiser so that we could go do something for our 8th grade class, right? If they can organize things like that are outside of school hours, they should be doing that. They shouldn't be taking away.
And then that
from
would
the
actually put the
education hours.
decision in the parents' hands. Because then, if the parent agreed, they take them to it.
There's a lot of parents that didn't even know their kids were partaking in this.
Yes.
And I don't think that's good at all. They are charging $15 a day on a $35 charge just to have power. Are you serious? That is so crazy. Yeah, up until a few years ago, I voted for whomever my mama told me to. Right. And younger people rely on older people with more experience to give them advice when it comes to that kind of thing. And we're at a point now where, like, there's a good majority of people that are in their 30s and 40s that don't understand how our elections are designed to work. And I 100% believe that you should have to have voter ID to vote. You don't see anybody out protesting because you have to have a driver's license and ID to prove that you're over 21 to buy beer or cigarettes, right? There's no protest anywhere that's like, it's not fair to have to show an ID to buy alcohol. If you have to show an ID to buy alcohol, cigarettes, to rent a hotel room, to rent a car, to board an airplane, shoot, you have to have an ID to buy Sharpies. I'll say it again. To buy Sharpies, those black markers that smell really bad? You have to have an ID to buy Sharpies. You don't hear anybody complaining about that.
And even spray paint.
And spray paint.
Yeah.
You have to have an ID to buy spray paint. And you don't hear anybody out there complaining about how those laws are racist.
Right.
It only is when it comes to voter ID, because I'll tell you, when I was delivering mail, I was a letter carrier when COVID hit. And that is when they started doing the whole like mass mail-in ballot thing, because they didn't want people to have to stand in line, right? Everybody was supposed to stay home and be safe and all that stuff, right? And I can't tell you how many houses I delivered ballots to for dead people or people who didn't live there anymore. And even if we knew that person had passed away or that person didn't live there anymore, we were not allowed to bring those ballots back to the post office. We were told under no circumstance do we bring them back. We leave them in the mailbox where they are addressed. We were not allowed to return ballots for people that we knew had passed away. Like, it is so bad. It was so bad. Let's see. I think that tree, okay. I was on disability for 2 years while I went to school to learn how to do programming where I could sit down and work. I mean, there you go. I mean, but like I said, Brett, those programs are meant to be temporary. They're meant to be like a safety net. Other than
not even. I mean,
there's Social Security, disability,
yeah, disability and
then
stuff
there's
like
like
that's a
Social
little
Security
different.
retirement, which is what you paid into, which oftentimes you pay in a lot more than you get back out of it. But that's a whole different conversation. And people hasn't thought about monopoly law. Duke Power owns everything around here, and I don't think that's right. Yeah, competition is best. Teachers and schools need to stay out of sharing their politics with students. 100%. Jen, don't give those big dummies any more ideas. Lenora Hyde laws are being kept in regardless of the party in charge. I'm not sure what Lenora Hyde laws are, Brett. Useless, their nose turns. Unless their nose turns black. What was that relating to?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Noahide laws? I don't know what that means either.
You know, Brett and his speak to text. You ain't no telling what he meant.
Yeah, right. He calls it text to gibberish all the time.
Yeah.
There was a kid who had left a comment about, but I don't see it anymore. That's crazy. You gotta show ID to purchase Sharpies and paint. Yes.
And
yes,
it's not everywhere. Lynn, I see you said you didn't get. It's not everywhere, but there is a lot of stores that make you produce ID to buy spray paint.
And I was told it was one, Sharpies is because kids will buy Sharpies and sniff them and get high. So they don't want kids getting high off of Sharpies. And then secondly, the paint was because if you're under 18, you might be using that to go like do graffiti or something.
Well, now Dollar General store on Main Street in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Whenever I was in my, I don't even know, I might not even been a teen yet, pre-teens or early teens, whatever. I was wanting to paint. I had bought a bicycle and I tore it all apart and was wanting to paint it gold and black. I could go in and buy the black paint, but I couldn't buy the gold paint because the gold paint and silver paint is what everybody used to huff.
Oh, right.
And so,
I remember they'd spray it in a paper bag.
Yeah, whenever I was young, that you had to have show an ID, be an adult, to buy the gold and the silver paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noahide laws are scary. I do not know what Noahide laws are. I'm going to do my homework. I can vouch for that, Jen. My sister voted who passed away years ago. Right. Yeah, you told me that. Each president for about 20 years have signing to affirm the Noahide law. Black spray paint. Spray paint can be used for whippets. There you go. Yeah, and that's the whole sniffing paint thing, right?
Noahide laws were 10 commandments.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I don't have a clue. I've never heard that.
I'd only call them racist only if the black paint turned their nose black. I gotta Google that real quick. Oh, Noahide lies are in the Bible? What? Okay, hang on. The 7 laws of Noah include prohibitions against worshiping idols, cursing God, murder, adultery, and sexual immorality. Theft, eating flesh torn from a living animal, as well as obligation to establish courts of justice. Huh. When you Google it, when you read it like that, you're like, oh, hey, that doesn't sound bad. Of course, we should have laws against murder and adultery and sexual immorality, and theft and eating flesh, right? But that was from Wikipedia, and you definitely cannot trust Wikipedia.
Jen, did you meet my granddaughter, Kim?
Yes, I did. I went to the gas station the other day, and I was like, she kind of looks like you. So I was like, oh, hey.
How did you... I thought it was closed.
Nope. They got the roof fixed and stuff good enough, she said. And they took down the awning completely.
Yeah, I knew they took the awning down, yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh, hey. And I asked her, if her name was Kim. And I was like, hey, I'm friends with your grandma. So yeah, I met her the other day.
It's extreme laws for the Gentiles.
Okay. Huh. I had never heard of something. I had never heard of that before. That's interesting. Let's see what else I have.
Golly, these mosquitoes.
So what do you guys think about the fraud going on in Minnesota and California?
I was so excited, LOL.
I was like, hey. She's like, yeah, I think my grandma's told me about you. Oh, our internet went out again for
It connected
momentarily.
back.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just got home. Here, I hope y'all are doing great. Hit the thumbs up. Thanks, Barbara.
Thanks, Barbara.
She was so excited. Please, brother and sister, look into the high note. Or,
No
yeah.
high lows.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Makes you wonder why all these things are happening today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep. And I'm going to go back to biblical truth. It's up to us to compare what we hear and see in the world with biblical truth and see how it lines up. Well, if it's there, I'm sure it's in other cities. We just don't know yet. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's happening everywhere. I'm sure there's fraud at some level everywhere.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, there is no doubt.
Think of all the money that we would save. We could improve our roads. I'd say we could put more money towards education, but we've been putting lots and lots of money. We put more money towards our education system than most other countries, and our kids are some of the dumbest.
Yeah.
So putting more money, throwing more money at education isn't the right way to go. But we could be supporting our vets. Like, if we got rid of all of the fraud, we could make it where we never ever had a homeless vet ever again.
Well, you say that, but you know yourself that is a choice that they made and they want to keep.
Some people, yes, when we were working with the homeless, there were several of them that didn't mind living in the woods or on the streets. And they're happy with it.
And there was times that we offered certain people, because we got to know them really well. I mean, some of these people come out to like our family.
Yeah, we felt like they were like our crazy uncle.
And we offered certain ones of those the opportunity to get into homes or whatever, and houses, apartments, whatever. And they totally declined it. That is not what they wanted. It would have taken away their freedom, basically, according to them.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I mean, they're one of the guys, very, very prominent family in that area. And his family is everywhere and very prominent in that area. And this is the way he wanted to live. He didn't want a home. He didn't want nothing else.
Kim, you're absolutely right. She said there's hospice homes that are fictional. There are daycares where there are no children. There are medical facilities where there are no doctors or patients getting millions of dollars. 100%. Patricia, I will check the email after the live. So when I went to college, my associate's degree was in medical billing and coding because I wanted to be at home with my kids. I felt like medical and billing and coding was a good way to go because it's something I could do from home. After I started doing my homework, I finished the program. But by the end of it, I wanted nothing to do with the medical field. And here's why. It's because there was, even back then, this was in the probably mid-2000s, it was after 2009. I think 2009 to 02 or 2012, 2014, something like that, that I was in college with my associate's degree. And even back then, 10 years ago, doctors were billing for things that weren't taking place. For example, say you go in for a regular checkup. Well, they're running your insurance for services that were not administered. There was people in my research, because I went online, so I had to do a lot of research and write a lot of research papers. There was people that weren't able to get health insurance due to pre-existing conditions that they didn't have, because of how doctors were billing for things that weren't actually taking place. And because those services were being billed directly to the insurance company and not through you, there wasn't 99% of people aren't going to be like, hey, what are the details of that? what just happened. They're just going to say, oh, yeah, I went in for this checkup and my doctor said everything's fine.
Well,
and they're
guys,
gonna go on
I
their
mean,
way.
and here's another side of all that. Is I've already said it once on our other channel. Whenever I think I was about 18. I worked for a feed mill, and one of the lids on so you had to climb all the way to the top of the roof, and it was a lid up there that you opened up, and you looked down in the bin to see how full it was. And one of them was kind of messed up. Well, I reached down to pick it up one day, and it hurt my arm really bad. Well, come to find out, I had to go. They sent me to almost like an AM/PM clinic, whatever you want to call it, to get looked at to make sure I wasn't hurt. And they was like, "Oh, you was sent here by S&S Feed Mill," and so they started laying it all out. Well, what I done didn't even have anything to do with the injury on my arm. So it come out to be a ganglion cyst. If you guys know what that is, basically, like an electrical wire, you have a nerve running through a wrapping. And something gets in there and gets that irritated and it swells up and, it fills it full of fluid to protect itself. Well, that's a ganglion cyst. Well, that's what happened. My wrist right here was swollen huge, huge. Well, they thought that the company was going to pay for that to be removed. And so they had it all laid out. It was going to cost almost $3,000. I don't even remember all of it exactly. But anyway, I was like, no, guys. I have to pay for this out of my pocket. I don't want them to have to do it because I don't want to mess that job up. And this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to pay for it out of my pocket. Oh, well, in that case, we'll do it right now for $125. They thought they was going to get to charge an insurance company or a big company $3,000 to do the same job that they charged me $125 for.
And they were able to do it on the spot.
And they was able to do it right there on the spot, not drag it out over weeks.
Annette said that she was medical biller for 15 years. It sucked. Tons of trauma involved.
Shut up, yes. Brett.
Yeah, Brett said, I believe insurance is a scam, but I also believe the earth may be flat. So don't listen to me.
Yeah, and he said, Wiley, you still look a little gangly to me. Hey, Gordon.
Patricia said, I think Trump needs to downsize the House and the Senate, maybe from where it's at to about 5 to do a whole thing and use the money saved to get us out of this mess they put us in.
I absolutely believe, guys, that we need to have term limits. Period. That would settle 90% of what we have going on as if we had term limits.
Yep. That's why insurance is so expensive. Absolutely. Because they're giving it all to the insurance companies, and the insurance companies are ripping everybody off.
Yep.
The insurance companies are making trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. And our healthcare system is not all that great. I think we need to quit kissing Israel's butt. I think we need to quit kissing everybody's butt.
Right.
I think we need to worry about what's going on here.
I think we need to focus on the U.S. and be done with it.
Get ourselves out of debt. I believe that alliances are, have their place or whatever, right? But we need to quit funding wars that don't affect us. I believe it needs to have we need to have term limits too, Wiley, yes. I absolutely believe there needs to be term limits.
Right.
I don't know if it should be 4, 6, 8 years or whatever, but there should definitely be term limits. I don't want any more Chuck Schumers or Nancy Pelosi's that have been there for 40, 50 years.
Right.
They are what is wrong with our country. And I only name those two, but I know that there's some that are on the Republican side too. So don't think that I'm just trying to tear down one party over the other. I think that the majority of our politicians are corrupt. If you look at it, if you look at the numbers, I believe in limited turns.
Annette, I up until recently, whenever Everybody on YouTube freaked out about my whole leg ordeal I went through here a while back. I've never been to a doctor. We went to the emergency room to have my leg checked out to make sure it wasn't a blood clot. That is the only time in my life I've ever been to a doctor.
Yeah, Obama made it law that everyone has to have insurance. Then he had a good idea of government subsidizing to help people get insurance, right? And all that did was made the insurance go up. Insurance after that did not get more affordable. In fact, now it actually limited who you could buy insurance from, and that's something that's being worked on right now.
No
Hey,
problem,
Stacy.
Stacy. You realize we've been on here almost an hour and a half?
Oh gosh, no, I didn't realize that. Yeah, this was only supposed to be like an hour, but we've covered most of the stuff that I had on my, list of things to talk about. But I think that we
need to end the pension plans for politicians. Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We have politicians. So, for example, I'm just because I know these right off the top of my head, Nancy Pelosi. If she had saved every single dime of every single dollar she had earned throughout her career, she would not be anywhere close to as rich as she is now. There's definitely been backdoor deals. She's been, I'm just going to say, allegedly involved in insider trading. I use allegedly as a very loose term because I don't want to get sued. But then you have AOC that was like in debt, and now she's a millionaire. Jasmine Crockett, she didn't have any, thing, and now she's a millionaire. Ilhan Omar is another one that was in debt when she took office and is now a millionaire or billionaire. They be doing some shady stuff behind closed doors, y'all. And there's a lot of them on both sides of the aisle that are benefiting. They're stealing taxpayer dollars. They are stealing money from us. They are taking money from big businesses that do not have our best interests at heart.
Oh, Stacy, there is no doubt about that. You are 100% correct.
What did she say? I'm surprised that some politicians could walk up those steps. They are so old, right? Yeah. Who was it? Was it Mitch McConnell? Is he the really old one that was in a wheelchair? Is in a wheelchair? He might have died. I don't know if he died or not. But he doesn't even really know who he is anymore.
Yeah. No.
And
still,
he gets to vote
yeah.
on important issues, and he doesn't even know who he is anymore. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Yeah. So, yes, they need to get Social Security like the rest of us instead of pension plan, right? Pelosi, in my opinion, has some contributors to support their views, right?
Do I have a chair? Yeah. Well, it's a stool, and it's very uncomfortable, but yes, I'm sitting on a stool.
All government workers need to fall under the same insurance as the regular citizens. They get better health services than the people who put them in office, 100%. Mitch McConnell reminds me of that turtle on Looney
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's... Stacey said, are you just semi-squatting? He would have legs of steel.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Boy, Kennedy gives them hell on... I watch him on YouTube. Yeah, are you talking about Kennedy from... not RFK Kennedy, but the other one from... John Kennedy from... Where is he from? Louisiana? Is he from Louisiana? Is he from... Tennessee, one of those, something. But yeah, he sure does, and he does not hold back. Kennedy should have been a comedian. In California, we used to say cop a squat. Louisiana, that's what I thought. I don't have any particular favorability for any of our politicians over any other.
No.
Really?
Not really, no.
Although I do think Kennedy's funny. Cop a squat in New York too, she said. I always thought it was Papa Squat, but I guess it's Cop a Squat. It's kind of hard to say. Anywho, yeah, so the only other thing that we didn't really talk about was, have you guys seen the stuff going on in New York City? With their new...
Mandomny?
Yeah, Mandomny. I think I said his name right. I was watching, I come across a video where there's trash piles lining the sides of the streets that are like 8-10 foot tall of household garbage.
Does anybody know if there's any truth to that? Is my first question.
True, yes. Is there? And that's what I want. I want you guys, because I know some of you live in New York, but you all probably don't live in New York City. But is there truth to that? Is the trash really piling up and they're like, whatever, refusing to remove it? Yeah, that's what they voted for.
Right?
Yeah.
Is the best snake talker ever. Right, Stacy? Right.
The Bible tells us to look out for the deceivers, right? Because there will people that will come disguised as heroes, but they're really, really bad people. I love to hear.
They're a bucket full of stupid.
He's very funny.
That's what old man King Peter.
Uh,
I do follow people from New York City, and it is true. Along with the black snow, it's awful. Wow.
Yeah, they're saying that those piles of trash are covered in rats and urine from animals, like people taking their dogs out and stuff, I guess, and it's getting really bad. And in New York, they're trying to, tax the rich, quote unquote.
The way he talks makes it sound like a beautiful endeavor while explaining how they will take away rights and beliefs, right?
100%, yes. And that's why we are doing this live stream, is so that we can compare notes. We can share stories.
Yeah, and there'll be a plague soon. Watch. Yeah, right.
Because of all that nastiness, yeah.
Yep. That's exactly how plagues get started. Right there. That is exactly how it happens.
Right. Did we see the last comment?
Have y'all seen Kennedy K on here? She's so funny.
No, I haven't.
I guess I haven't heard of her.
No. But that's why I want to do this. I want to compare stories that we're seeing. I want to compare opinions because I like information. I like gathering information. I feel like it's kind of like finding pieces to the puzzle and figuring out how they all work together, right?
Weasel's going around here now.
And you can't believe everything you see on the internet, especially with AI getting as good or bad or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it's really hard to tell what's real and what's not anymore. He'll get some rest. You guys keep yawning. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about current events. Well, that's what this channel was meant to be, and we just really haven't got around to doing anything on here yet.
Yeah. So I started doing the Bible studies. If you guys are interested in Bible studies, I do that in the mornings on this channel. And then this live stream will be every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I refuse to believe Mandami's win was legit. Yeah.
Yep. But, he's trying to bring Sharia law to New York City, and there's a lot of people that are in support of that because, I kind of think of Mandamni as kind of like the serpent in the Garden of Eden, right? He was like, life will be so much better when you can, think for yourself, and then look where that got everybody. So
I like to do it again. Miss Come On Mountains live tonight. Oh, did you step on David's toes?
Oh, oops. I admit I did not do research to figure out who else was online this time. I'm sure he's got hundreds of people in his live stream. We're not taking away a ton of views from him, so it's whatever. But
Amen, Stacy.
This is what time our analytics said would be a good time to go live. So that's why I chose this time slot. Was legal, but doesn't matter because he is a win-win for the enemy that helps promote his cause. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Patricia said that's okay. He'll get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. Got the college students hook, line, and sinker. Free stuff, and let's not forget that he's a good-looking guy too. You know, and you have all of these feminists in New York City that are like, ooh, they're easily swooned by a good-looking dude, right?
Oh yeah, Brett.
Especially a rich, good-looking dude.
I was sent pictures of it the day he got it.
Perfect time for us in Georgia. Sweet, awesome.
I haven't seen it, personally, but I got pictures of it the day he got it.
You know he has never had a job, Mandomni. I heard that.
Really? No, I had never heard that.
Yeah. And I also heard that his mom's name is listed in the Epstein files. So Mandomni's mom had ties to Epstein. Yeah.
Well, for some reason, I'm seeing it all jumping up here. It's not down here, so I can't read it.
Weird. I think we're at the bottom, yeah.
I seen a bunch of comments come in up here on the phone, but I can't read them on the phone. I was waiting on them to come in here.
How's Willing doing? And I think he's awful. Willow's doing great.
Yeah, Willow's doing great.
Yeah. Good time for me on the East Coast. Sweet.
Perfect.
Kim, you're on the West Coast. Is this a decent time to go live? It's about 4:30 your time, I think. Well, not now, but when we started. I think it's a good middle ground. It's not too late for y'all on the East Coast and not too early for y'all on the West Coast. Someone posted a pic of him and Epstein, father and son. I don't know. Warnock and the other demon is our problem, Southwest. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Barb. I've heard Warnock. I believe that's the name of a one of the politicians, maybe. Wiley got Willow Spolt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So this has been a really good talk, guys. We've actually pretty much talked about everything that I had on my list of stories that I had come across this week. Yeah, plus some.
They haven't found or heard anything about Nancy Guthrie. Pray for her, please.
Right.
I'm
not sure how I feel about that. If it's all true. I'm back. Have you heard the rumor that Mandomni is Epstein's son? Somebody just said that.
Yeah, we was just talking about that.
Nothing better than doing chores and listening to this convo. So, Rachel, you and I talk about this stuff in private, but now I'm being bold and I'm talking about it on the interwebs. So, those side by side pics got me. We going to 10 Killer? I'm not sure. We are mainly focused on getting to and from Michael's graduation.
Right now, yep. Every dime we're getting is going towards the getting to South Carolina fund in March. Or in April, I mean. So
yeah, which isn't that long away. By the way, thank you to a couple of you who have sent us small donations for that. We appreciate it. We are now in no means asking for help in that area. We will figure it out. But we do appreciate y'all.
So sorry I was very late. I was cooking and couldn't hear well. Then I'll go back and rewatch.
Okay.
No problem, Stacy.
Hopefully you don't think of us differently.
Yeah. Log in alternate account to discuss these juicy matters. Yeah, right.
Rachel.
Right, Rachel.
It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to come in as, under a different name.
Yeah.
Just to protect your sovereignty of your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was something else I was gonna mention. Yeah, we pretty much covered everything I had for this week.
I'm out of coffee. I'm gonna leave it to you, Jen.
Okay. Well, that's Wiley's sign us saying we're done. Well, I love you guys a whole bunch, and for those of you that join me in the mornings for the Bible study, I will see you in the morning. We're in Genesis chapter 4. Anyway, that's it. You guys start when you're seeing stuff throughout the week. Take notes, and then we'll meet back here next Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time and talk about the issues that are going on. I was saying something about Nancy Guthrie. I pray for anybody who ends up in that situation. However, I can't help but feel like there's something a little bit weird about all that. I am praying for her safe return to her family. 'Cause that is a very, very horrible thing. But there's just something in here that's saying something's not right. I don't want to speculate on that. They're just, something's not adding up. Anyway, Rachel said she'll be taking Mary to the dentist. Okay, well, prayers for Mary. Hopefully everything goes good there. With Nancy, there's something wicked afoot. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. I don't know. It could be Lorraine. Could be. But, it'll all work out in the wash, I believe. So, anywho, yep, I'm gonna get off here, guys. This has been an awesome chat, and I hope to see you guys back next Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget, I do the Bible study in the mornings on this channel. On Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, we go live on Our Mountain Home, talk about homesteading stuff and updates. And then we go live on Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Working with Wiley. So, I know it was the son-in-law. Patricia, I'm marking those words. Anywho, okay. I have a scoop on a sitch on Nancy. Oh, Kim, call me. Okay, anyway, all right, I love you guys, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.